Welcome beyond the veil. You are listening to Moonlight and Ironwood. If you want to skip the wait and download the full audiobook right now, the link is in the description. Now, take a deep breath. The mist is rising.
He walked over to the bed and sat on the edge, handing me a mug. Hazelnut cream, I took a guess. Good guess, I murmured, taking a sip. It was perfect. We sat in silence for a moment, the steam from the coffee curling between us. It felt surprisingly domestic, surprisingly right. "How are you feeling?" Aiden asked, his gray eyes scanning my face for signs of panic. "Like I got hit by a truck," I admitted. "But calmer. The bond feels less like it's trying to rip my chest open and more like an anchor." "Good," Aiden said. He reached out and tucked a stray lock of hair behind my ear. His touch was electric, but gentle. "My dad called last night." I froze, the mug halfway to my lips. "Alpha Stone knows?" "He knows. He's handling it." "Handling it how? By exiling me?" "By calling a meeting," Aiden said. "He summoned your parents and Jackie to the estate at noon. We are expected to be there." Noon? I looked at the digital clock on the nightstand. It was 10:30 a.m. "Aiden, that's in an hour and a half. I can't go there. Jackie will flay me alive." "She won't touch you," Aiden promised, his voice turning hard. "I won't let her, and neither will the Alpha." My phone, which I had left on the nightstand, buzzed angrily. It had been buzzing intermittently all morning, but I had been too afraid to look. I picked it up. 47 missed calls from Mom, 22 from Dad, 86 text messages from Jackie, and one call coming in right now from Nia. I answered it, putting it on speaker. "Journey! Oh my God, are you alive?" Nia's voice screeched through the room. "I'm alive," I said. "I'm safe." "Safe? Girl, you are the most wanted fugitive in Pack history. Do you know what the school group chat looks like right now? It's a dumpster fire. People are saying Aiden kidnapped you. People are saying you used a love potion. Chloe is telling everyone she saw you do witchcraft in the locker room." "Witchcraft?" I groaned, rubbing my temples. "Really?" "And Jackie," Nia lowered her voice to a conspiratorial whisper. "Jackie is on a warpath. She posted a video this morning crying about betrayal and sisterly bonds. She's playing the victim so hard she deserves an Oscar. Everyone hates you right now, Jay. I'm defending you in the comments, but I'm outnumbered." "Let them talk," Aiden said, his voice deep and audible over the speaker. Nia gasped. Is that Aiden? Are you with him right now? In the morning voice?" "Hi, Nia," Aiden said dryly. Oh my God. "Okay, I'm hanging up before I pass out. Good luck, Journey. Don't die." The line clicked dead. I looked at Aiden. "Everyone hates me." "They don't know the truth," Aiden said, standing up and offering me a hand. "Let's go show them." The drive back to the estate was the longest of my life. I had borrowed a hoodie from Aiden because putting the beige dress back on felt like a surrender. So there I was, the future Luna, maybe, walking into the Alpha's mansion wearing oversized sweats and looking like I'd just rolled out of bed. Which, to be fair, I had. The security guards at the gate let us through without a word, but their eyes lingered on me, curious, assessing. Aiden parked the SUV right in front of the main entrance. He killed the engine and turned to me. "Ready?" "No," I said, honestly. "I feel like I'm going to the gallows." "You're not going to the gallows," he said, taking my hand and kissing the knuckles. "You're going to claim your place." We walked up the steps. The heavy doors opened before we even reached them. We were led into the Alpha's private study, a room lined with books and smelling of old leather and power. They were all there. My parents sat on a leather sofa, looking pale and exhausted. My father's jaw was set tight. My mother looked like she had been crying, and standing by the fireplace, arms crossed, looking like a vengeful statue carved from ice, was Jackie. When we walked in, the room went deadly silent. "Journey," my mother breathed, standing up. "Oh, thank the goddess." "Sit down, Mom," Jackie snapped, her eyes locked on my hand, which was still firmly laced with Aiden's. "She's fine. Look at her. She's glowing." Alpha Stone sat behind his massive mahogany desk. He looked tired, but imposing. "Thank you for coming," the Alpha said calmly. "Sit." Aiden led me to the 2 empty chairs facing the desk. I sat, but Aiden remained standing behind me, his hand resting protectively on my shoulder. "This is ridiculous," Jackie spat. "Why are we having a meeting? Aiden kidnapped my sister. He humiliated me in front of the entire pack. He should be apologizing, not whatever this is." "It wasn't kidnapping," Aiden said coolly.
"Then what do you call it?" my father asked, his voice shaking with suppressed anger. "You took my daughter in the middle of the night without permission. You kept her overnight." "I took my mate," Aiden said, his voice ringing with alpha command. "And I don't need permission to protect what is mine." The word hung in the air. Mate. My mother gasped, covering her mouth. My father went rigid. Jackie laughed. It was a harsh, brittle sound. "Mate? Please, that's your excuse? You expect us to believe that Journey, little, dormant, invisible Journey, is your fated mate?" "She isn't dormant," Aiden said, "and she isn't invisible to me." "Prove it," Jackie challenged, stepping forward. Her eyes were wild. "If she's a wolf, let her show us. Shift, Journey, right now." I shrank back in my chair. I had never shifted fully. I didn't know if I could on command. "She doesn't have to prove anything to you," Aiden growled, his own eyes flashing gold. "Actually," Alpha Stone interrupted, his voice cutting through the tension, "she does. Not to prove the bond, I can smell the truth of that from here, but to prove she is fit to be Luna." He looked at me, his gaze heavy and calculating. "The pack will not accept a human Luna, Journey, nor a weak one. If you are to stand beside my son, you must show us your wolf." I looked at my parents. They looked terrified for me. I looked at Jackie. She looked triumphant, certain I would fail. Then I looked at Aiden. He squeezed my shoulder. "You can do this," his bond whispered in my mind. "I am with you." I stood up. I closed my eyes. I reached deep inside, past the fear, past the insecurity, past the years of being the beta's shadow. I found the golden thread of my wolf, the one that had caught the dodgeball, the one that had screamed for Aiden. "Show them," I told her. And for the first time in my life, I let go. The change was instantaneous and painless, a fluid ripple of bones and fur. My clothes shredded. I landed on all fours on the Persian rug. My wolf wasn't small. She wasn't weak. She was a sleek, midnight black creature with fur that shimmered like obsidian. I was larger than a typical female, heavier, stronger. My eyes, usually brown, were now a glowing, electric violet. I threw my head back and let out a howl that shook the glass in the windows. The silence that followed was absolute. My father was staring with his mouth open. My mother was crying again. And Jackie? Jackie took a step back, her face draining of all color. Because she knew. Every wolf knew.
Violet eyes were not just rare. They were a sign of the royals, a sign of pure, ancient blood. I looked at Aiden. He was smiling. Beautiful, he mind-linked. I turned my violet gaze to Alpha Stone. He stood up slowly, bowing his head in a sign of deep respect. Welcome to the pack, Luna Journey. Chapter 10. Violet Eyes. The silence that followed my shift was thick enough to choke on. My wolf stood tall in the rug, my claws sinking into the expensive fabric. I felt powerful. I felt seen. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the beta's shadow. I was the main event. Aiden moved first. He knelt beside me, his hand burying itself in my thick black fur. The touch grounded me, stopping the wild urge to snarl at Jackie, who was staring at me as if I had grown a second head. Shift back, Aiden murmured in my mind. It's okay. You're safe. Shifting back was harder than shifting forward. It required letting go of that delicious power and returning to my human vulnerability. But I focused on Aiden's hand, on his scent, and let the magic recede. Bones popped and rearranged, fur retracted. In seconds, I was human again, shivering and naked on the rug. Aiden was ready. He had grabbed a heavy wool blanket from the back of the sofa and wrapped it around me before anyone could blink. He pulled me to my feet, keeping me tucked securely against his side. Violet eyes, my father whispered. He looked like he had seen a ghost. Beta blood, but royal eyes. How? Recessive traits, Alpha Stone said, his voice filled with a strange kind of awe. He walked around his desk, stopping a few feet from me. He didn't look angry anymore. He looked reverent. The Ironwood line has always been strong, but there were rumors, centuries ago, of a connection to the first pack, to the Wolf Queens. That's a myth, Jackie snapped, her voice shrill. It's a fairy tale we tell pups. Journey isn't a queen. She's a late-blooming freak.
You thought wrong, Alpha Stone said simply. The violet eyes are the mark of an alpha of alphas, a true royal. It explains why her wolf was dormant for so long. Royal wolves need more time to mature. Their power is immense. He looked at me then, meeting my gaze. I apologize, Journey, Alpha Stone said formally, for doubting your strength. I swallowed hard, clutching the blanket tighter. Thank you, Alpha. No, he corrected gently. In this room, with that wolf inside you, you are equal to me. Perhaps, one day, even greater. A strangled sob escaped my mother. She rushed forward, reaching for me, but stopped just short of touching me, as if afraid I would bite. Journey, she wept. My baby. We treated you like... Oh, goddess, we were so wrong. Can you ever forgive us? I looked at my parents. I saw the guilt in their eyes, the realization of 18 years of neglect masked as pity. I don't know, I said honestly. You made me feel small so Jackie could feel big. You let me believe I was nothing. My mother flinched as if I had slapped her. My father looked at the floor, ashamed. It wasn't malice, my father said hoarsely. It was ignorance. We thought we were protecting you from a world that values strength. We didn't know you held the greatest strength of all. And what about me? Jackie's voice cut through the emotional moment like a jagged knife. She stepped forward, her hands clenched into fists. Tears of rage were streaming down her face, ruining her perfect makeup. I did everything right, she hissed, glaring at me. I was the perfect daughter, the perfect student, the perfect mate for Aiden.
I trained, I studied, I played the game, and she just wakes up one day with magic eyes and steals my life? She didn't steal anything, Jackie, Aiden said coldly. The bond chose her. The moon goddess chose her. The moon goddess is wrong! Jackie screamed. The room gasped. To blaspheme the moon goddess was unthinkable. That is enough, Alpha Stone commanded, his voice booming with alpha authority. The air in the room grew heavy, forcing everyone into submission. Even Jackie fell silent, trembling under the weight of his power. The engagement between Aiden and Jacqueline is hereby annulled, Alpha Stone declared. It was a political arrangement, and it has been superseded by a fated bond. He looked at Jackie, his expression stern but not unkind. You are a strong wolf, Jackie. You will find a mate who is meant for you. But Aiden belongs to Journey, and Journey belongs to the pack as its future Luna. Jackie looked at Aiden one last time. She looked for regret, for hesitation. She found none. He was looking at me. She let out a sound of pure frustration, turned on her heel, and stormed out of the office, slamming the heavy doors behind her. The silence she left behind was heavy, but clearer. So, Aiden said, squeezing my shoulder. I guess that went well. I let out a shaky laugh, leaning into him. If that was well, I'd hate to see badly. My parents lingered, looking unsure of their place. Go, I told them softly. Go check on Jackie. She needs you more than I do right now. They looked relieved and heartbroken all at once. My father nodded to the Alpha, and they quietly left the room. When we were alone with Alpha Stone, the tension finally bled out of my shoulders. So, the Alpha said, sitting back on the edge of his desk. Violet eyes, a royal lineage, and a fated mate bond. He shook his head, a small smile playing on his lips. Life in the Ironwood Pack just got a lot more interesting. What happens now? I asked. Now? Alpha Stone stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the snowy grounds. Now we prepare. The pack will need to be told. The council will need to be notified of a royal emergence. And you, my dear, he turned back to me, his eyes twinkling. You have a lot of training to do. A royal wolf is a gift, but it is also a target. We must make sure you are ready to defend your crown. Aiden pulled me closer, kissing the top of my head. She's ready, he said confidently, and I'm right here with her. I looked up at him, then at the Alpha. For the first time, the future didn't look like a long, dark tunnel. It looked bright. It looked challenging. It looked like Violet.
The shadows are lengthening. That is the end of this chapter.
Can't wait to see what happens next. You don't have to. Download the full uninterrupted story right now at the link below. Otherwise, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Sweet nightmares.